Hey, how's it going, guys? We are back once again, the final whistle. And today, as you guys can see, I got the Euro 2020 predictor up, and we will be predicting all the way from the group stage to my final winner. And we are going to start off right away with Group A. As you can see, I was kind of screwing around with the group stage, and I kind of slid Italy in. No, that is not where I think they're going to finish. I think Italy are going straight into first. For me, this Italy team is so much fun and so exciting. I got Italy going far in this tournament, depending on their matchup. But Italy, really the scary thing for me is their back line. For me, their best pairing would be Bastoni at left center back, and then you'd have a Cherby at right center back. But we know the captain is Chiellini, who plays left side at center back, and that is Bastoni's position. So you're going to see Chiellini starting, and more than likely he'll start beside Bonucci. And for me, that is probably their second string center back pairing, but just because of seniority, captaincy, I think you're going to see them starting. I would prefer to see Bastoni and Acerbi, but that's not going to happen. This Italy side is so young, so talented, so interesting. It's going to be a blast to see. It's just going to be refreshing with the likes of Chiesa, Ciro Immobile, Barella, and just the likes of this team is unbelievable. Spinazzola at left back. You got Florenzi at right back. You got Donnarumma, the new PSG possible goalkeeper in net. Coached by Roberto Mancini. Mancini for me has done an unbelievable job with Italy. After Italy missed the last World Cup, he's revamped the squad. He's gone young. He's gone talented. He's mixed in some veterans, some intelligent, experienced players, and that's like the Bonucci, Chiellini, Ciro Immobile. Just some very talented and very smart older heads in there. For me, I think Italy. I wouldn't say they're gonna walk this group, but I think they're gonna win it quite easily. Guys, to move on to the rest of Group A, everyone's talking about Group F being a group of death. You can probably see it at the bottom of the screen. For me, Group F is not. It is a group of death, but it is not the most exciting group for me. One of the most exciting groups for me is A and C. There's some really exciting groups in here, and A is probably one of the standout ones for me. And this is where it comes out really interesting for me. For me, it could end up 2, 3, 4 anyway, but I think Wales for me are straight into fourth. For me, they don't have any goal threats. You're going to be relying on Gareth Bale far too much, and in an international tournament like this, Switzerland and Turkey are easily just going to man mark him or put two on him, and he's not going to be able to score. And you rely way too much on two injury heavy players like Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey. Wales always do in the big tournaments, and it never pays off. You could say they have Dan James. United fan myself, you can see the jerseys in the background. I just don't think Dan James is going to cut it at a big tournament like this if you're asking for a goal threat. And that's why I have Wales so far down, because they just don't have a goal threat for me, and their team isn't at the caliber as some of the other teams in this group. For me, guys, Switzerland, I'm not going to put any of these teams in yet until I talk about them here. Switzerland, this is their last chance to win it with this core group that they have. The likes of Shaqiri, the likes of Summer, they just have such an aging team. Jaka, it's getting old. It's getting aged. They're getting to their peak. They're right at their peak here. And for me, if Shaqiri in this golden age of Switzerland, yes, you got Embolo coming up, and you got Zakaria, all those Mongol, Mönchengladbach players coming through. Still, I just don't think this Switzerland. They got to do it this tournament. If they don't advance here, this is their end for me. The peak is hit, and it's going to be very tough for them to overcome it. You would really need to rebuild after this and revamp and just go young after this tournament if they can't get second. And for me, I feel like defenses are going to be important and hugely important in this tournament. And if you look at this Turkish back line, you got Matisse Demiral, you got Soyuncu, and you got Ozan Kabak. People in the Premier League will say, "Well, Kabak was terrible this year. He didn't have some great games." Yes, he didn't have some great games, but he did have some really good games. And when he played really good, he was really good. And for the national team, Kabak is unbelievable when he plays. But the thing is, you got three very, very young center backs and three very talented center backs. And Demiral has been injured for quite a while. He hasn't played a game in a long time. For me, I'd be going with Soyuncu and probably Kabak, just because he's fit. He's been playing for a while. He's had some very good games. He's shown. People say, "Oh, he's had some very bad games too," but for me, he's still played good enough. I'm gonna go like this, guys. I think Turkey are gonna take second. I think it's gonna come down, and Switzerland are gonna come third. I feel like Wales aren't gonna be able to click it. And you got Italy in there for me winning it. I got first Italy, second Turkey, Switzerland third, and fourth Wales. I'm not going to talk too much about that group, guys, because I've talked about it a lot already. And for me, guys, in tournament football, especially in the Euros and the World Cup, there's always that national team that surprises you, and there's always that big name that just falls off the face of the earth. And in the World Cup, it was Spain a couple years ago, it was Germany, there was a couple of them. This tournament, I feel like there's going to be one or two of them. And for me, my big fallout is going to be Belgium. And I don't think they're coming first. I think they're coming second. I know a lot of people are going to be shocked by that. They're going to be surprised. They're going to call me an idiot, stupid. I just don't think they got it. Roberto Martinez, I saw him at Everton. He's never really impressed me as a manager. Last World Cup, he never really impressed me. Everyone's going to tell me in the comments, oh, look at Kevin De Bruyne, look at Romelu Lukaku, look at Dries Mertens, look at all of these fantastic players. Thorgan Hazard, Eden Hazard, Yuri Tielemans, Den Donker from Wolves. You can name all these unbelievable midfielders, these wingers, these attackers they have. For me, the key outlier here is the manager and the back line. The back line for Belgium is far too slow. And I think they're going to get exposed by the likes of, yes, I'm going to give away my first place, and the likes of Denmark. Denmark, for me, are going to take first place. But I'm going to tell you why I think Belgium coming second is their back line. Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Vermaelen, oh, they're so old. It's like I can't even think of how old those guys would be on paper now. Each of them are mid-30s. Alderweireld in the Premier League this year has looked terrible. Tottenham fans have hated watching him. They want him gone. Vertonghen, he looked old last year in the Prem. I'm not sure how he's looked. I won't talk critical on him because I haven't seen him in Portugal, so I won't get too into depth on him. I just know they're a very slow center back pairing, and they don't give much cover for their center backs in the midfield either, which Roberto Martinez has never addressed, and I think he needs to address, and I don't think he will, and I think that's going to be the detriment to this Belgium side in the Euros this year. The reason, you guys, I'm going to have Russia in third is just because Russia just play a crazy style, and going into a game or a game day, you could commentate on Russia, you could analyze Russia to the hills and back. You don't know how they're going to play, you don't know how they're going to set up, you don't know their mentality. And in Russia, they always look at their team as underachieving. They should be doing way better. They should be accomplishing more. And I could see that. You got the likes of Mario Fernandez, Zuba, who's won our hearts, Golovin scoring screamer after screamer at the last World Cup, even beating Spain last World Cup. And I think this Russian team could easily come and get a straight advance. I think Russia might be one of those third place teams that squeak through, but it's going to be very interesting to see how Russia play. They're going to be a team to watch and see. Guys, Finland, I have fourth. For me, Finland, I just don't think they have the quality. They could surprise us with Pukki, Herdecki. The thing you need in a good team going to Euros is a spine. You got Pukki at striker, you got Glenn Kamara at center mid, and you got Herdecki in net. Very talented Europa League side that they got. But besides that, I just don't think this team is going to have enough Finland. They could be that one team that shocks you and knocks out the likes of Russia. And one of those teams could be fourth. But you never know. It's going to be very interesting, you guys. And like I said myself at the start of the video, guys, I'm going to have a lot of shocks, a lot of surprises. Because I think there's always going to be surprises in tournament football. And I got another surprise in this group. I have Ukraine coming first in the group. I've been convinced by many people. I've watched many videos. I've analyzed this to the hills. I've looked at this Ukraine side, and I think they're just such an interesting side to look at. When you look at the roster, guys, I'm just going to bring it up on my phone quickly so I can look at it again. But people are going to criticize me for talking about Pyatov. I love Pyatov and net. He's such an experienced player, and for me, I love experienced players. It just shows a lot. Their backline isn't the greatest, but it is an all Dynamo Kiev basically backline or a Ukrainian a Ukrainian league backline. So they have the chemistry for me, which is very good. I want to talk about their midfield and their attack. Yaremchuk up front is outstanding for me. He's played unbelievable for Genk, and I think he's going to be one of the players to watch in the tournament. People are predicting Harry Kane to be your top goal scorer. I think if Ukraine win the group, it's going to be down to Yaremchuk, and I think Yaremchuk is going to be the leading goal scorer coming out of the group stage if Ukraine can come first, which is my prediction. So I could see Yaremchuk coming first in goal scoring coming out of the group stage. Moving on to the midfield guys, I gotta talk about this quickly. Viktor Tsyankov. I can't say his name amazingly. He plays for Dynamo Kiev. Unbelievable right mid. Unbelievable talent. Go watch him. Go check out some clips. I had talked about him to the hills because I don't watch the Ukrainian league. But when I have seen him play, he's been unbelievable to see. He's a great talent, and I think he's going to show himself at this Euros. And if he does well, I think he could get Young Player of the Tournament, depending on how far they go. I think a key thing for this, guys, is Konoplyanka is not even in the squad, and that shows you how much this Ukrainian side has moved on from that golden generation. And I want to talk about the rest of the midfield. You got Stepanenko, you got like some Malinovsky playing at Atalanta, you got Yarmolenko playing at West Ham. This Ukrainian side is a lot better than you expect, and that I expected first on my podcast with my friends. I underestimated Ukraine. I didn't look at the squad enough. I didn't analyze them enough, and now I am. And I got Ukraine at the top just because I love the squad. I love the youthfulness and the expectations that people are really putting them under, and no one's really putting them as high as they deserve. For me, guys, my best friend is Dutch, but unfortunately, I have the Dutch coming second in this group. I think there's two key outliers for me here, guys. I'm not going to talk about this for long because I know this video is going to be really long compared to most of my videos. But the Dutch, for me, is a scary one. Like I said, Belgium, one of the big names that might go down, and they might go down hard. For me, the Dutch are going to go down even harder if they play the three in the back. Because Frank de Boer was playing fantastic in the four in the back. Wijnal and Dumfries on each flank. And you had De Vrij and De Ligt down the middle, or Van Dijk before he got injured. Or you had Daley Blind. And then randomly, this crazy manager, Frank de Boer, goes and changes to a three in the back. And he's now playing. I think he's panicked. I think Frank de Boer's panicked because he's realized his three better players, or his three best players in the squad, De Vrij, Blind, and De Ligt, are all center backs. He wants to fit them in, which I think is stupid. You shouldn't overestimate yourself and just change formation because of that. And it's really unfortunate because I think it's going to be detrimental to this Dutch team if they play in the three in the back. Just because Wijnal, for me, is great at being technical. He's great at working out the little spaces, and that's where he's good at left back. And wing back, I think he's just going to be out of position. And Dumfries going forward at right wing back, it's just not going to suit his style. He's better tucked in. He's better going down the flank on his own and not having to worry about going back and forth, back and forth. So I just think this Dutch team is going to end up second. And the reason... sorry about that, guys. And another reason I think the Dutch team scares me. I have two more reasons before I move on to the third and fourth, which is kind of a quick wrap up. The goalkeeper position. Having Silesen go out injured is a scary, scary moment for this Dutch team for me. You have Tim Krul, who's like 39 now. Just kidding, he's like 33. But then you have Stecklenburg, who's 37. I understand they're still playing first team football, but still, these guys are old. They're still not great goalkeepers that you want in an international tournament. I would rather have Finland's goalie. I'd rather have Hennessy for Wales. I would rather have any of the teams I've talked about before. That's the only another thing that hurts them. And Frank de Boer, manager for me, guys. He's a killer. Crystal Palace, he went, I think it was 0-8 to start the season, and at Atlanta. Atlanta has a fantastic team in the MLS. You could say, oh, he's talking about the MLS, yuck. But it's the MLS still. Atlanta had an unbelievable team for the kind of caliber the MLS was at, and he was just awful managing them, and Atlanta fans absolutely hated them, and you guys can probably say the same in the comments for me too. So those are my reasons for Netherlands coming in second, guys. I'm going to wrap this one up quickly. For me, I'm just going to quickly go like that, third and fourth. I think Austria and North Macedonia could either go either way for me. It's going to be whoever gets a win over each other. Austria obviously has some unbelievable players, some Grealish in the midfield, Sabitzer, Alaba. The really problem is where are they going to play Alaba? They don't have anyone really at fullback, but they have two good center backs. They have a great midfield. The manager's been flip-flopping between playing Alba at center, defensive midfielder, left wing, left back, and he's got to figure it out before the start of the tournament because they're suffering at wing back, and they just got to figure this thing out before they go into the tournament. So, guys, that is my group for Group C. You also got Elmes, Bardi, Pandev. They could be that team that is like, oh, maybe they'll surprise us. They could, and I'd really like to see them. Guys, Group D. I'm English myself, and I am English. I am English, guys. I'm gonna leave that there, and we're gonna talk about that last. I'm gonna have the Czechs coming fourth. Everyone's just say, what about Sofian Kufal and Thomas Uchek and the likes of others there? But no, I just don't see the Czechs coming through in the third. You guys could be saying, tell me in the comments right now that, oh, Scotland are a lot worse than them. They're garbage. Scotland aren't good enough. Look at their team on paper. They're championship level. For me, Scotland aren't. If they play the midfield, which I hope they play, they're gonna play Billy Gilmore, or not even Billy Gilmore. They go with McTominay, McGinn, Stuart Armstrong. They got Ryan Fraser. They got so many young and talented Scott players. You got Shea Adams up top. He's been fantastic for Southampton when called upon for Danny Ings. Up top, they have Dyke up there too. He's not good. Back line, you still have O'Connell. You have some great players in the back line. Grant Hanley. You have Liam Cooper, the captain of Leeds. I think everyone's underestimating the Scotland team, and I think they shouldn't be underestimated. But I'm going to go England second, Croatia first. You guys may think, why does he have England coming second? This is stupid. England to come first. For me, guys, since I'm English, I want it to end up like this because whoever comes first in this group is playing the group of death in Group F, which is the second place, which is god awful and I don't want to see happen. But I think I think the England Croatia game is gonna set the tone. I think that's gonna be a draw. And I could also see Scotland beating England or tying England. And if Scotland pick up the win that first game, they're gonna think, let's go for it. We can do this. Because Scotland are playing on passion, they're playing on belief and the back of their fans, and this is huge for the Scottish team going into the tournament. So that's what I have so far, guys. First Croatia, second England, third Scotland, and fourth Czech Republic rounding off the group. We're going to move to Group E here, guys. For me, guys, I'm going to do this one quickly because this is going to be a long video going into the knockout rounds. And for me, this group has been summed up this week, and it is very simple after what's happened to the Swedish team. Slovakia, they're too old. They got likes of Kuka, Hamšík, so many older players in there. But and Duda's their youngest guy at 26. He's the spring chicken of the bunch. But third place, Sweden. Guys, I got Swedish in my family. It hurts me to put Sweden third. The reason I have Sweden in third is because of COVID. Svanberg and Kulusevski have come out with COVID this past week, really. Just kidding, guys. I'm changing my mind. I got Sweden second. The reason I'm putting them in second is I'm changing my mind because I remember who we have up top. We have Quaison and Alexander Isaac still. And that is without Kulusevski and without Svanberg in midfield. And I think we're going to have enough just to get over Poland. Only because if Lewandowski doesn't show up. We know Lewandowski in tournament football has been terrible. There was the likes of when he had Blazkowski and Piszczek, and they did nothing in the tournament when they were on home soil. And then last Euros, nothing. World Cup, nothing. I don't even know if he's in the World Cup. But tournament level with national team, Lewandowski has been terrible. And they're a slow team. The midfield doesn't impress me. Zielinski, yes. Lewandowski, yes. Glick and Bednarek, yes. And then their keepers, great. They got a good spawn. But if you still can't get the ball to Lewandowski, he's still not going to score. I think the Sweden team have a good enough midfield. The backline's unbelievable for me for Sweden. Like, you still have Hallander, you have Victor Lindelof. You have such a good backline. They all played together in the U20 and the U23 in the national tournament when they won it. And the chemistry is there. The midfield's there. Alexander Isaac. It's just such a fun young team in Sweden, and I love it. Spain, yes, they've lost Sergio Busquets and Marcus Llorente, they're right back. But they just have the quality to go through in this group. This group is just that mediocre that I think Spain and Sweden will get through. Group F, the group of death. Everyone wants to see me talk about this one, I'm guessing, guys. I know this is going to be a long video. I'm trying to go as quick as possible, but still get the analysis out there for you guys because I know you guys wanted to see this eventually. So, guys, am I going to throw in another curveball like I did with the Dutch and the Belgian and the English? But no, I'm not. I think this one's a straightforward. I'm sorry for Hungary. it could be a beautiful Cinderella story, but it ain't. When you lose your best midfielder in Dominic Szoboszlai from Red Bull Leipzig, you got no chance. I'm really sorry for Hungary. It was hard enough, and then Szoboszlai goes out. There's really no hope for them, in my opinion here. Guys, you can look at the group and say there's going to be that team, that one team that just nicks it. And Germany, I don't know why they're autocorrecting there, guys. I want them in third. I think you can overthink some groups and say, oh, this team might somehow get through. This team has a chance. For me, this is just your straightforward group. It's your Hungary, it's your Germany, Portugal, France. I think you might see the possible final matchup in that group. You could see France and Portugal meet up at the end. I think the only reason I have France and Portugal there is because I see them drawing. I think Portugal is a team that can draw against France. They have the defensive capability with Pepe, with Ruben Diaz, João Cancelo, Nuno Mendes, or Rafael Guerrero. It's going to be such an interesting group, and I'm so excited to watch that group, guys. It's so hard to call for that group. Guys, I'm going to scroll through a bit there so you can see my group stage, all my groups. Yeah, I got some really outside opinions. I'm not surprised you guys are going to be confused what I'm thinking. But we're going to move on to predict the 4 best third place teams. For me, guys, I got Germany coming through here. They might only get 3 points and maybe a draw, but I think it's going to be just because they're going to beat the absolute living piss out of Hungary, and it's going to be embarrassing for Hungary. I got Switzerland, just because I think that group can go either way, and I think a team is going to get lucky and score a couple goals and get a win or a draw, or a win and a draw. These are the 4 that is really difficult for me here, guys. I got Scotland. I feel like Scotland's gonna have a Cinderella story here, guys. I think they're gonna be one of that teams that just blow on through because of the passion, the belief from the fans, and just the excitement of the tournament. I just don't see Poland making it through. I don't have the belief in Lewandowski in a big major tournament like this, and it really hurts me to see it. Comes up to Russia, a Cinderella story from last World Cup at Moscow, and Austria. A lot of people have Austria finishing 4th and 3rd. I'm going with Russia just because I feel like that group is really a toss up for me, and I don't know how it's going to end. We're going to move on to the knockout stages, guys. As you can see, I'll show you the first 4 matchups in that bracket. That is a very interesting top half of the round of 16. I'm going to start off with Denmark, Scotland, guys. There's not much talking points for me here. It's straight Denmark. I have Denmark as they're my fun favorites, my exciting team I want to see here. Like the Christian Eriksen and Højbjerg with the Thomas Lane. That midfield's one of the best in the tournament for me. People may argue, but you can't really for me. That midfield's unbelievable. You look at their center backs, Christensen, and you also have Matthias Jorgensen. I don't even know why we bring him. He's the 5th center back. Let me get the names up. It's absolutely ridiculous here, guys. Simon Kjær from AC Milan and Yannick Vestergaard and Joachim Andersen. I don't even know who they're going to go with. You got a Champions League winner in Christensen. You got AC Milan's Simon Kjær, who got in Champions League and brought back the passion for that team. Personally, for me, I go Simon Kjær and Christensen. And look at Yannick Vestergaard and Joachim Andersen on the bench. Those teams, those 2 center backs, will be starting for any of the other teams, which is crazy to think about, guys. I got Denmark being a real outsider in this tournament, and I'm excited to see them play. I'm just gonna say, guys, if you can see Denmark play in any of the games, they're a must watch for me. Okay, guys, this draw is important to me because my best friend is obviously Dutch, but I don't see them beating Italy. I got Italy's exciting youth talent team coming through and beating the Dutch. And it's gonna be an interesting game. I think that if that tie does happen, it's gonna be such a fun game to watch, guys. Also, France, Russia. I'm not even going to talk about this one, guys. Obviously, the tournament favorite, France, against Russia, who I barely put through. England, Sweden for me, guys. I'm Swedish. I'm English. For me, guys, I'll have a half and half jersey. Probably not. I'll be cheering for England here. I just love English. And the fact that Kulusevski and Spanberg are coming back will make it a bit more interesting. But I think the English will pull on through. Look at the next matchup here, and it is Spain against Switzerland, guys. I think we're gonna see another big team go out, and I think it's gonna be Spain. I just feel like that team is due for a screw up like they did in the World Cup, and I think it's gonna be against Switzerland because Switzerland has the minerals, and I think that generation want to do something and impress their fans, and I think if they get to that quarterfinal stage. That'll make their fans happy enough. Guys, I got Portugal going through here. I don't need to talk about this one that much. Croatia are an aging team since the last World Cup. They're aging the last World Cup, and they're still aging now. Portugal team are probably one of the favorites for me going into this tournament, and I would just love to see Portugal go on through here, guys. Last two matchups, Ukraine and Germany. This is so interesting here for me, guys. I put Ukraine obviously top of their group. I'm gonna have Germany beating Ukraine. This is the one thing I hate about this tournament this year. You could have first place teams coming up against third place team like Germany, which is stupid. I hate this third place team rule. It's absolutely ridiculous. But if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I see Germany beating Ukraine. I see another big upset here, guys. I see Turkey beating Belgium. I love this Turkish side. I said defenses would win this tournament, and I think Turkey has the defense to go all the way and do very well in this tournament. Do I see them being an outsider making the semifinals against Germany? Great question, guys. Yes, I do. I think that German team is too old. I think that back pairing of Hummels and Rudiger is just not going to be able to keep up with the pace of Cengiz Under and the rest of that Turkish team that are so young and so interesting to watch. And I'm so excited to see that Turkish team play. And I just can't see Timo Werner and the likes of Serge Gnabry and Leroy Sané breaking down and scoring against that back line of Ozan Kabak or Demiral and Soyuncu. Switzerland, Portugal, guys. I'm not even going to talk about that one. Ronaldo's going to blast them away all the way to the semifinals. Isn't that a weird semifinal, guys? Turkey, Portugal. I hope that happens. That'd be so cool to see, guys. The other quarterfinals. Denmark against Italy. Do you guys think I got another upset, Denmark and Italy? Yes, I love the Danes. I think the Danes are going to have an unbelievable tournament. You guys are going to probably call me an idiot here. But I think this is the start of that Italy exciting generation. If they lost to Denmark, they'd probably be riots in the street. But I think people are going to underestimate this Danish team. This Danish team is going to be able to sit back, soak up pressure, and hit you on a counterattack with Christian Eriksen playing that ball to Braithwaite, playing that ball to all the other fantastic attackers they have, and likes of Skov. They just got a brilliant team. I'm so interested to watch this Danish team. I think they're going to beat Italy here in the quarterfinals. Taking a sip of my drink. Don't spit try, guys. And because I'm nervous for this game. France, England. If this happens, I'll be absolutely shitting bricks while watching this game. I'm going to take away all bias from this game, guys. I think if anyone's going to beat France, it's going to have to be an impeccable game. I think the pressure is going to get to France. I think England's going to win it. My bad, guys. Bit of bias going in that one, guys, but I just feel like England's going to do it. I just got a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach like somehow England's going to just beat them in extra time or with a Trippier free kick. It's a gutsy prediction, guys, but it's a bit of bias in there. I hate to say it. I think Turkey's run comes to an end here in the semifinals, and the same with Denmark. I don't need to talk about these guys much. I think that's my final. I think Portugal or France end up in the final no matter what. Either both of them do or one of them. And then it's going to be one of the other teams. It's going to be England or someone like that. I go to England personally. But I think no matter what, we're going to see one of Portugal or France in the final for me. Do I see a repeat or do I see it coming home? It's coming home, guys. I'm going to say it. There's my winner right there, guys. I'll move up. If that happens, I got extra time. Or I got a late corner or a set piece. I see none of these teams are really going to be possession-style teams, though, really. Portugal, England, I see Portugal being the more possession-dominant team there. I see that being a 1-0, a 2-1. I think England's going to be decent to give up a goal. I see a 2-1 there, or an extra time, or a pens. But I do see England winning it here, guys. For me, I got England winning the Euros. A bit of bias coming involved there. But for me, Portugal or France are ending up in that final no matter what. I could easily see France or Portugal making that final together out of the same group, which is crazy. But I got England here winning it, guys, out of my bracket. It is going to be very interesting to see what happens this Euros starting tomorrow. And I'm so excited to see the start. I'll have a video on, maybe a preview on that Italy-Turkey game. I'm going to unfortunately be at work, so I can't do a reaction after the game. So I'm going to miss the first game of the Euros, sadly. But guys, I hope you enjoy this video. It's gonna be a bit longer than usual. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of these reactions and previews, like I'm doing here of the new setup. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. Hit that sub button, hit that like button, and let me know what you guys think of everything going on in the comments down below, guys. That was another video on the final whistle, and I'll see you for another one, guys. Peace.